Good morning, Eddie Kearns coming to you from Lexington, North Carolina. Just doing a quick testimonial to Jack Bosch and the land profit generator. And just want to tell you real quick about a deal that I just recently did, and pretty excited about it because we made money, and always excited about doing that. Basically what we did is, to start with, did a lot of things that Jack had recommended to do in his training, and one of those things was to send out letters to people who were past due in their property taxes. And this is a stack. Actually, this is what the letter looks like. We use click to mail, and the reason I have these letters right here is because these came back, and we're actually going to try to locate the people with these. But these were, and some of them we have. But we sent this out, I sent this out on January the 10th. And what I did is I sent it out to all the people who were past due on their property taxes. And the way that I acquired that list is I went to the tax collector in my local county. I just did this in my local county, and because I thought it would be easier to do that to start with anyway. And of course we might expand out at a later date, but I wanted to start in my local county. But we went to the tax collector's office, and they were more than willing to give us a CD on an Excel spreadsheet of the people who were past due on their property taxes. And what I did is I tried to go into that list, and I tried to break it down. I tried to find the people who owed past due property taxes on land. And after about an hour and a half into that process, I just kind of threw my hands up and gave up. And I said, because it wasn't broken down into unimproved and improved land. And I just decided to myself, I said, well, I'm just going to send a letter out to everybody that's past due on their property taxes that has a property worth $60,000 or less. Because in my personal situation, I really didn't mind if I was going to get somebody that had a house on their property. Well, lo and behold, I did get several responses. I ended up sending out about 200 letters. It was, to be exact, I think it was 208 letters, and I think it cost me about $175 to do that, which was very, very good. And by the way, the letters were very professional. That's a testimonial to click to mail. These are letters that will be opened if you have any doubts about that. But anyway, long story short, we did get about 20 callbacks, and most of them didn't work out. And the one that worked out with the deal that we ended up getting was actually a property that was not past due on property taxes. The person that got the letter was past due on his personal property taxes, but he was able to resolve his personal property tax situation, so he wasn't interested in me buying his house. It's going to be hard for me to do this because this is really complicated, but I'll do the best I can. But anyway, the wife of the couple had a father who had been deceased for about 2 years, and they had been keeping his property up for 2 years. It was a nice property. It was what it was a double-wide mobile home in a double-wide mobile home community. And the home was worth about $70,000, and it was very nice, but it needed a roof, and that was about the only thing that it really needed. Well, they told me they wanted $40,000 for it, and we did our negotiating, and I ended up offering them $30,000 for their property. So one thing that I did put in our original offer to purchase was that they would give me permission to market the property while we were doing our due diligence for closing, because they were aware that I was buying it to sell, and I was going to pay $30,000 cash for the house. Well, anyway, what happened in the process is I did put an ad in the paper, and I did have all the proper paperwork that allowed me to do that on this property. But we were approached by a person who wanted to buy the property, but he could not buy it for cash. He wanted to owner finance it. However, he had $15,000 down. So I went back to my homeowners and asked them if they would be willing to do an owner finance for their property. and I told them I would give them like $10,000 down, and they agreed to do that. And we just proceeded as planned. And what we ended up doing is ended up doing they did a land installment agreement to me, which was something that Jack had talked about in his materials. And I ended up doing a land installment agreement to the people in the property. So basically I took title to the property, and I received a $15,000 down payment, and I ended up giving my owners $10,000 down, but I do have a copy of the check, and I don't know if you can see this. I'm probably getting too close, but here's a check for $14,500, and the reason it's not $15,000 is because I did get an earnest money deposit from them for $500 previous to getting this check. Fortunately for me, before I cashed the check, I did make a copy of it. I was glad I did that. But here are the copies of the agreements that we did. And by the way, these agreements were done by an attorney friend of mine who had gone back to school, but he's still a practicing attorney. And he did charge me a little bit of fee for that. So my actual net profit out of this deal was $4,650. And not only that, but we're owner financing the property, and the interest rate that I'm paying the owner is a little bit less than the interest rate that I'm receiving from the buyers, and I'm actually getting about a $25 a month differential in price. So I thought that was pretty good too. But just like I say, I used a lot of the techniques that Jack had recommended in his materials, and I highly recommend this program. The Land Profit Generator worked out very well for me, and I was glad I did it, and I hope that you can take advantage of it yourself. Thank you very much.